Base on balls, walks in baseball history. I was curious, which baseball players in history drew the most walks each season? Who were the top five? A book I wrote, Yearly Leaders of Every Batting Category, Chapter 11, I study the top five baseball players in history decade by decade, starting with the 1870s. The top five baseball players who drew the most walks per season. Ken Arzone here, Vista, California. I'm looking at Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. This video, let's look at 1910 through 1919, the top five. Miller Huggins, 116 walks. Johnny Evers, 108. Sherry McGee, 94. John Titus and Jimmy Sheckard, 80. John Titus, 93 walks. Jimmy Sheckard, 83 walks. 1911. Jimmy Sheckard, 147 walks. Now, I've been looking at the top five since 1871 up through 1910. The highest number of walks I found was a guy named Jack Crooks, had 136 in 1892. That was the highest amount so far for a player. 1911, Jimmy Sheckard breaks it. 147 walks. That's a lot. Johnny Bates, 103. Bob Bescher, 102. Donnie Bush, 98. Miller Huggins, 96. This Miller Huggins guy, about four times top five. 1912. Jimmy Sheckard, for the third year in a row. 1, 2, 3. Actually, pardon me. Fourth year in a row, he makes the top five. 122 walks. Donnie Bush, 117. Eddie Collins, Hall of Fame, 101. Maury Rath, 95. Dode Baskart, 91. I know some of these guys, you haven't heard of their names. 1913, Bert Shotton, 99 walks. Bob Bescher, 94. Miller Huggins, for the fifth time, top five. 92 walks. Eddie Collins, 85. Joe Jackson, first time for him, 80. 1914 season. Donnie Bush, 112. Miller Huggins, the sixth time top five. 105. Eddie Collins, third time for him, 97. Vic Sayer, 94. George Burns, 89. 1915 top five. Eddie Collins, the fourth time for Eddie. 119 walks. Donnie Bush, 118. Ty Cobb, first time for him, 118. Bert Shotton, 118. Babe Borton, 92. 1916 season, top five. Bert Shotton, 110. Jack Craney, 102. Eddie Collins, fourth time for Eddie, right? Yeah. Fourth time top five. 86. Henny Grosh, 84. Tris Speaker, first time for him, 82. 1917 season. Jack Craney, 94. Eddie Collins, five times top five. 89. Harry Hooper, Hall of Famer, 80. Donnie Bush, 80. George Burns, 75. 1918 season. Ray Chapman, 84. Donnie Bush, 79. Harry Hooper, 75. Eddie Collins, sixth time, top five. 73. Bert Shotton, 67. 1919 season. Let's finish the decade. Jack Craney, 105. Babe Ruth, 101. First time for Babe. He's playing more now. Remember 1914, he started his career, but he pitched 1914, 15, 16, 17, 18, and some 19. So he goes for 101. George Burns at 82. Joe Judge, 81. Harry Hooper, 79. So the decade of 1910 through 1919, who stood out based on balls, making the top 5? Eddie Collins. I didn't realize this, but Eddie Collins in his career made the top 5 in base on balls 13 times in his career. And he ended up with 1,499 walks. Eddie Collins. And in this decade, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times out of 10 years, top 5 base on balls. Miller Huggins a couple times. Donnie Bush a couple times. Give the decade of 1910 to Eddie Collins. All right, next video, the 1920s. One of the most historical decades regarding baseball in history is the 1920s. The ball players who played in that decade rewrote the history books as far as baseball is concerned. The players who played in this decade, a lot of Hall of Famers. And I'm going to look at the top 5 baseball players in the 1920s in the next video. I'm out.